the sentiment or attitude that consumers are facing today actually, in from what I've experienced, has been very positive. What I mean by that is, again, this profession, it's something unique. It's something that a lot of consumers can be afraid of if they haven't really experienced death or dying. And this is usually a topic that only is discussed when it's in your near surroundings, whether you lost somebody close to you, whether you had a bad experience at a doctor's appointment or things like that. That's when your mind switches to this thought process. But with what's going on, even globally, it's changed the consumer's mind to really start thinking to themselves that, hey, am I really prepared? And they start educating themselves on, hey, if this were to happen, if this was to happen to me or my family, do I have the answers? And so what we've seen just with funeral homes across the country, I've heard that their web pages, they're seeing a lot more clicks online, researching personally on pre-planning. So activity has definitely increased. And so when you look at the consumer today, again, there's a heightened anticipation of what's going to happen. And it has drawn or has refocused a lot of people's minds to, again, am I prepared? Do I have in place what I need for my family? And so really it's taken a good look from consumers that normally wouldn't be thinking about this, thinking about it. And it's really changed us as a profession to be ready. I mean, we have to be able to arm them. We have to educate them so they can get the necessary things that they need to feel confident moving forward if they wanted to pre-plan now or continue to wait.
Yeah, Cameron, some of the things you just said there, you're right. It's been so interesting to see the response. I mean, you can't deny that death care has been part of the pandemic. I mean, it's in the media, we're in the news, and no one likes to face death. Uh, but the reaction to death care, I agree, it's been positive. I have dealt and worked with lots of funeral homes and cemeteries and crematories that, I mean, when a lot of this was first starting, they were in situations where families sometimes couldn't even come in. And I mean, death is hard enough, but not to be there with your loved one. And yet they worked through it. One of the things I deal with a lot are regulatory issues where people get complaints and in trouble. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of that through the pandemic because I think as far as death care, we've really stepped up and have met the consumer to help them through this. And as far as the consumer sentiment, I think, I mean, look, obviously at times like this, you can see it again in the news. People are guarded as far as what they're going to spend money on and how they're going to transact business. But at the same time, the flip side is consumers, I'm seeing it, they appreciate more of what they ultimately get. So that means, it's like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And when consumers, I think a lot of times we're being faced with, they weren't allowed to have a full funeral service, or everybody couldn't come. They actually embraced it more and they want more. And I think it's given funeral professionals an opportunity to really shine and show what they can do, because sometimes the limited services that they can provide were that much more incredible. And we death care has always been built on the idea of, what makes you different. And I hear it all the time, we're better because we do this. Well, now we've kind of gotten to show that, and I think consumers have seen it and appreciated it. And you had brought up seeing funeral homes with more clicks and cemeteries and people going. And this is so true because I believe through all this, consumers are looking for more information. They want to come, they want to see it, but you got to go back. This is a digital platform now. They're not allowed to maybe come, or they don't want to come to your face to face. So it's digital. And one thing, the sentiment that I've seen change is they want to see it, and they want to be able to learn about it, and it's given as a time as a profession to really show what we have. And I think it's so important now, for businesses to really kind of digitally put out there what they have. Consumers are asking right now for information. And as a profession, we've really got to keep giving them the answers that they're looking for.
One of the things I thought of when you were speaking there, Paul, was, again, things we've always had access to, but haven't really used it to the full potential. And one of the things was I was talking with the funeral home owner, this was a couple months ago, and just the amount, because of the limited capacity they can have at funerals, the online streaming, being able to, utilize that platform to still conduct funeral services where you don't necessarily have to be at the funeral home. People can, chime in through a Zoom or through another virtual alternative to watch and still participate in these celebrations. And it might seem like, well, I'd rather be there, which I agree. I'd rather be there in person as well. But today, even, just who we are as a community, we always don't live as close as we used to. We're scattered all across the country. So what this has continued to allow the profession to have is, again, another opportunity to use technology to still bring us, no matter how far we are apart, still bring us really close together. So what we're really doing is it's bringing more people to this audience, and it's getting the closure what they need to move forward for those that maybe could not have attended in person in the first place.
So what you just said, it really, one of the greatest things that that has kind of the sentiment, the change in death care. Death care has always been this kind of hidden, you know, quiet, secretive. We don't talk about it. And I've one have been frustrated for years on the fact that we are afraid to broadcast and take photos. And you'd mentioned that it's always been there. Well, what's really funny is if you go way back in history, we used to take photos and we used to share the experience of funerals. And one of the things I see that consumers have done is they have opened up their doors, their computers at least, and they have allowed this. I have seen more streaming funerals, photos of funerals, symbols, everything online through this. And I think it's actually a very wonderful thing because it's allowing people to see that funerals are positive and they're not hidden, and we don't have to worry about a video of a deceased or a photo of a deceased. And I think, again, consumers through this, the sentiment of death care it's got a bit of a positive acceptance, and I think that's a great thing.